In 1983, Ford put a 6.9-liter diesel V8 into its heavy-duty pickups. The badge on the truck said Ford, but the engine came from International Harvester, a rival truck builder fighting a financial crisis of its own. Ford's launch material promised stronger diesel power and better fuel economy than a comparable gasoline truck. So how did an engine Ford did not design become the foundation of Ford's diesel pickup era? Indianapolis, 1982. Inside International Harvester's engine plant, production began on a new naturally aspirated diesel V8. It was not a converted gasoline engine, and it was not a last-minute experiment. International's own archive preserves a 6.9-liter engine booklet dated 1980, while the engineers who created it later described a program aimed at Class 2 through Class 6 trucks and outside manufacturers. That matters because this engine was conceived as a working engine from the start. International's engineers said their priorities were simplicity, performance, reliability, and durability, balanced against a cost low enough for light and medium trucks. That sounds ordinary today. In the early 1980s, it was a difficult combination. A pickup diesel had to fit beneath a conventional hood, survive the loads of a work truck, start in ordinary daily use, and reach a price that did not frighten buyers back to gasoline. It also had to make sense to a manufacturer building hundreds of thousands of trucks, not just to a small group of diesel specialists. Ford had the trucks and the dealer network. International Harvester had decades of diesel engineering and an engine already moving toward production. The opportunity was obvious, but the timing was anything but comfortable. In September of 1981, period reporting described International Harvester as being on the edge of bankruptcy. The company faced billions in short-term debt and was negotiating with 225 creditor banks. In the middle of that crisis, it signed a 5-year agreement to supply Ford with $500 million in diesel engines. Think about the reversal. Ford, one of Detroit's giants, was trusting a crucial new option to a company under enormous financial pressure. International, meanwhile, was agreeing to build engines for a manufacturer that competed in the truck business. Both sides had reasons to hesitate. Both sides also had reasons they could not ignore. Ford could bring a purpose-designed diesel to market without creating a new engine program from a blank sheet. International could put its engineering and factory capacity behind a customer with enormous volume. The same deal that looked risky on paper gave each company exactly what it lacked. But here is the detail that changes the whole story. International did not present the 6.9 as an exotic performance engine. Its engineers described it as an affordable truck engine for a wide range of gross vehicle weights. That plain mission shaped almost everything buyers would later remember about it. The 6.9 used indirect injection, the piston behind the letters IDI. Fuel entered a small chamber connected to the cylinder rather than being sprayed directly into the main combustion space. The engine was naturally aspirated, so there was no factory turbocharger forcing extra air into the early version. In an age now defined by boosted torque figures and electronic controls, that layout can sound almost primitive. In 1983, its straightforwardness was part of the appeal. The pre-chamber was more than a technical footnote. It shaped the sound, the starting procedure, and the way the engine delivered its power. A glow plug system helped prepare the chambers for a cold start. Once running, the engine relied on the pressure of diesel combustion and a conventional mechanical process rather than the layered computer strategy of a modern truck. That simplicity came with a trade-off. Without a turbocharger, the engine could only work with the air drawn in by the downward movement of its pistons. It could not produce the specific output of the turbo diesels that followed. Indirect injection also moved heat through an extra chamber before combustion finished in the cylinder. The design was practical, but it was never a shortcut to spectacular power. This is exactly why judging it by a modern horsepower contest misses the point. The question International was answering was not how to build the strongest pickup diesel imaginable. It was how to build one that could be manufactured in volume, sold at a realistic price, installed across several truck classes, and trusted with daily commercial work. The answer had to satisfy engineers, assembly plants, dealers, fleet managers, farmers, and individual buyers at the same time. The old engine's pace became part of its personality. Drivers had to plan a pass, allow speed to fall on a grade, and remember that a heavy trailer was asking a naturally aspirated engine to do real work. But the same limits also made its mission honest. It was a tool calibrated around steady effort, not a showroom demonstration designed around one dramatic number. Ford's original announcement placed the engine in the heavy-duty F250 and the F350, with gross vehicle weight ratings of 8,500 pounds and above. The early launch specification projected about 160 horsepower at 3,300 revolutions per minute and 307 pound-feet of torque at just 1,400 revolutions per minute. Those figures tell you what the engine was for. It was not built to make an unloaded pickup feel like a muscle car. Its useful number arrived low in the rev range, where a driver moving a trailer or a bed full of equipment could use it. Ford also claimed a meaningful fuel economy advantage over comparable gasoline-powered versions. Ford even pointed out that its projected horsepower was about 19% higher than Chevrolet's 6.2-liter diesel. That was a sharp piece of competitive advertising, but the more important comparison was inside Ford's own showroom. A buyer could now choose diesel economy and low-speed pulling power without leaving the F-Series family. The package also made Ford's diesel commitment visible in a way an experimental fleet never could. These were regular production pickups sold through ordinary dealerships. A contractor did not need to buy a medium-duty chassis, and a rancher did not need to visit a specialist. The engine entered American working life through the same doors as a gasoline F-Series. That distribution mattered as much as the hardware. A durable engine hidden in a low-volume industrial catalog might earn respect among engineers. Put it inside one of America's best-known truck lines, supported through Ford dealers, and suddenly the same design can influence an entire market. International's archive adds another layer. Its 1982 release said the engine family had been certified for all ratings of 170 horsepower and below, and that production began in August at the Indianapolis facility. In other words, the Ford truck was receiving a new engine with its own industrial identity, even if the oval on the grille got most of the public attention. This is where the story takes a turn that a horsepower chart cannot explain. The 6.9 did not need to dominate every specification to succeed. It needed to convince working buyers that a diesel pickup could be a normal tool rather than a risky novelty. The source video's comments are filled with the same two memories. Owners call the old IDI trucks slow, especially by modern standards, and then describe how long they kept working. Those comments are personal recollections, not laboratory evidence, but they reveal why this subject still draws an audience. The engine's legend is not built around speed. It is built around the stubborn satisfaction of a machine that keeps reporting for duty. That reputation also explains why the original engineering brief deserves attention. International's engineers did not claim to be building the future of high-output pickup diesels. They focused on simple design, reliability, and durability. The truck market eventually demanded more air, more fuel, more electronics, and far more torque. But those later demands do not erase what the first engine accomplished. For a while, things actually seemed almost modest. A heavy-duty Ford could be ordered with a naturally aspirated diesel, a manual transmission, and numbers that would look tame beside a current truck. That modest package was quietly proving that the partnership worked. By 1983, reporting preserved in the Congressional Record said International was supplying more than the 30,000 engines per year originally agreed for the Ford contract. The same account described the 6.9 program as one of International's most profitable areas. A deal made during a financial emergency had become an operating success. That is the business lesson buried beneath the hood. International Harvester's wider crisis was real, and one successful engine could not repair the entire corporation. Yet the engine division created something valuable enough that a competitor wanted it, customers bought it, and production exceeded the original plan. Ford's gain was just as important. The company did not merely fill a gap in an option sheet. It learned that buyers would accept a Ford pickup powered by a diesel sourced from a specialist partner. That relationship became part of the architecture of Ford's heavy-duty truck business. The 6.9 was later followed by a larger 7.3-liter IDI. Then the old indirect injection formula gave way to the electronically controlled, direct injected Navistar T444E, the engine Ford marketed under the Power Stroke name. Ford's own remanufactured engine records placed the 7.3-liter Power Stroke in F-Series applications beginning with the 1994 model year. The technology changed dramatically. Turbocharging, direct injection, high-pressure oil-actuated fuel systems, and electronic controls pushed diesel pickup performance into a different world. The badge became famous. Yet, the commercial logic remained familiar. Ford built the truck and the customer relationship, while its engine partner supplied specialized diesel expertise. And the timing of that legacy is hard to miss. The first 5-year supply agreement was signed while International Harvester was fighting for survival. A company in crisis helped another company establish a product line that would outlive the original corporate name. International Harvester sold its agricultural operations in the mid-1980s, and the remaining truck and engine business became Navistar. The red farm equipment identity that had defined International for generations moved elsewhere. The diesel relationship with Ford continued under a new corporate name that does not make the 6.9 a hidden military engine, a secret prototype, or a forgotten supermotor. The verified story is better because it is more human. It was a carefully developed commercial engine, built for ordinary work, launched through an unlikely partnership at the worst possible financial moment. There is also a useful correction to the way automotive history is often told. We like single-company legends. Ford trucks are treated as pure Ford products, Chevrolet trucks as pure General Motors products, and Dodge trucks as pure Chrysler products. Real machines are usually more complicated. Suppliers, competitors, and engineering partners often shape the vehicles whose grille badges get all the credit. The 6.9-liter IDI makes that collaboration impossible to ignore. International's engineers defined the engine. International's Indianapolis plant built it. Ford packaged it, sold it, serviced it, and placed it in front of buyers across the country. Neither side could have created the same result as quickly on its own. Pay attention to the original Ford numbers one more time. About 160 horsepower, 307 pound-feet, and a heavy-duty manual transmission. They sound small now, but they were enough to open the door. Today, a high-output Ford Super Duty diesel is rated at 500 horsepower and 1,200 pound-feet of torque. That comparison is not proof that the old IDI was weak. It shows how much the market it helped establish has changed. The first step did not need 4-digit torque. It needed buyers to believe diesel belonged in an American pickup. And that is the real legacy beneath the noise and smoke. The 6.9 did not win by being the fastest engine of its era. It won by making a complicated idea feel practical. A Ford truck could carry an International engine. A financially troubled manufacturer could deliver a dependable new product. And a risky supply agreement could become the opening chapter of a diesel dynasty. The next time you see an old bullnose Ford with a diesel badge, look past the oval for a moment. Under that hood is the record of two companies solving each other's problem. One needed an engine, the other needed a customer. Together, they changed what American truck buyers expected from both. If you enjoy the overlooked engineering stories behind classic American vehicles, subscribe to Classic Cars USA. There are many more famous badges with surprising machinery hidden behind them.